Basu take extreme delight to be joined by Jaideep Mukherjee and Boria Mojumdar. Thank you so much, gentlemen, for joining. Joyda, after the Asia Cup, this is one tournament which India will be really looking forward to, provided they have the all-important T20 World Cup coming up. So, how are you looking at this T20I series? India playing Australia.
Now all the cricket that happens for all the teams will be a prelude to the World Cup, and everybody's getting ready, everybody is covering their bases, everybody's got issues in their team that they need to look after, and they're basically bolstering those up. So for India, it'll be good to see that Bumrah is back, good to see that Harshal Patel is back. Now, Harshal Patel has been injured for a while.
Yes.
Now Bumrah has been around for a long time, so he might hit the strap straight away. And it's slightly easier for the bowlers than the batters after injury, because for the batters it's a one-ball game. But with the bowlers, even if you have a couple of bad balls or a bad over, you get 24 opportunities to get it right. As a batter, you don't get that many opportunities, in especially T20 cricket where you're meant to get on with it. 130, 140 strike rate. So you really want to get on with it. You don't want to slow the game down. As an opener, I'm not in form back after injury like a KL Rahul, and I'm feeling, oh my God, I'm 12 or 13 balls or 10 balls. Maybe I should have been 22 right now. Am I slowing the game down? Am I taking too much time for the next batters to come? So all that. But for the bowlers, it's slightly easier because you still got 24 balls to bowl. So for both the teams, just not India, I think it's just an opportunity for them to get their teams in place, make sure that everybody is in the right place. Give extra time to the guys who are not in form. You need them very badly. So a very, very important series for both the teams, just not for India.
Absolutely. And Boyada, I'll come to you. Australia not, coming into the series with their main players, but India have their main players finally into the squad. So what do you have to say about the mindset of both these teams? One team will be playing without their mainstream players, another team is having their mainstream players back.
See, Australia is one side even without Starks, Stoinis and Marsh, and Warner, still a very, very good side. Okay, so it's not as if India is not going to play a good side. They will play a quality good side. Yeah. And as Joydeep said, ultimately it is about your team, how you get ready for the World Cup. There were, the Asia Cup was supposed to give us answers. We have far too many questions. We don't have answers. Number 4, number 5, number 7. Who's the premier bowler, 19th over, bowling combination. All of these questions will have to be answered in the next 6 games. That's it. So time for experimentation. In fact, that is my question to Joydeep also. When does experimentation finally stop? Because you have to stop it. You've got to get your combination right, with which Rohit will step out to toss against Pakistan on 23rd October. Yeah. When does that?
That's a great point. For me, experimentation should have finished by now. And now, you give the guys who are going to go in the first game every game. Give them every game. Give them game time, whether you're a batter, whether you're a bowler, whether you're in form, whether you're out of form, doesn't matter. Just play. So that when the first game comes, you are in sync. You know your role, you're playing in that position every day, you know what's happening. It's just one more important game. But it's not like, oh my God, I didn't play the last 2 games, I was rotation, then I had this niggle, then I was out of. You don't want that as a player. As a player, before a big tournament, you really want to play.
Absolutely. And now I would really request both of you to give your comments on my following question, that is, Australia are the defending World Cup champions. India, on the other hand, are yet to, prove themselves. The last T20 World Cup was not a very pleasant journey for them. Even the Asia Cup, they had too many struggles.
Yeah, if I go first, I don't think India goes into this T20 World Cup as a favorite. Any person, whoever is saying it.
That's blatant honesty.
No, see, they are saying it for broadcast and some headlines.
Absolutely.
On Indian telly and some numbers on social media.
Absolutely.
Anyone who says this Indian team is actually a favorite going into this T20 World Cup.
Yeah, absolutely. And the Asia Cup showed us that. The Asia Cup showed us. Now, that doesn't mean that India cannot win the T20 World Cup.
True.
Whatever brand we play, that is not ready. Tomorrow we go, we get our team in place, everybody hits form, and in the World Cup, everything falls in place. We can win the tournament easily.
1983 was India favourites. No, but India went on to win, so India can win.
2003 World Cup when we reached the final. 2003 World Cup when we reached the final. We went to New Zealand before. We were slaughtered.
Correct. Tendulkar's dance was 0-1-1. His wife said your thing is an STD, Delhi STD code. Okay, and then we went on to win 8 matches. 2007, we were nowhere there. No Rahul, no Sachin, no this thing. We went on. So no one's saying we can't win. Are we going in as one of the foremost teams? No. Is Australia a better T20 side? Yes. Can India win? Of course India can win. I mean, come on, each of these guys are champions. So that's why I'm saying what I'm saying, and I want to ask Joydeep, now your final 11. Who do you go with? Do we really know who our final 11
No,
is?
we
Need to know.
don't. We don't. So these are the questions, and a great point here. It's the not the 11 that we need. So if India plays at 100% and Australia played at 70%, India will win. But if Australia played 100%, India played 100%, Australia will win.
Correct.
So one is what you have, your team, what you're capable of, your strengths, your weaknesses. What level are you playing at that particular game, not the tournament. Sometimes it's varies game to game, especially in T20. One day you come and say, wow, makes you like, how can you play like this? Because this version really tests you. It puts you in tight corners. So for me, okay, 1, 2, 3 sorted. Who is 4? Who does done well at 3 and 4? But he's batted at 7, hasn't done well. He should have batted at 7 in the first place. If 4 is Surya, then stick with him. Give him these games. Give him the game against South Africa.
Who is finishing?
Yeah, who's finishing? Yeah.
Too many questions.
Who is finishing? Is it Hardik and DK? Then give Hardik and DK a run. Don't play Huda at 7. Because by playing Huda at 7, what are you doing to Huda? I mean, is he getting his place cemented in the side? No. So that's my point. That, question to you. What's your bowling lineup? So answer that. And do you think now what we are going to see at least in this Australia series is your final level?
Yeah, I hope so. Your second question first. I hope so. Because as a player, I would like to, especially with the World Cup coming, I really would like to play at my position and play these 6 games that I have. Play these games and then go into the World Cup. So because every game is very important for my confidence building, for me to work on. I might have a 4 over 30 day, but there's still some things I need to work on that. My Yorkers are not falling. Maybe the batter couldn't hit it, but somebody else will. So while you're playing, you also know your strengths, you also know your weaknesses. Even on a good day, you know your weaknesses. There are games where people have got 100 and say, oh, I had trouble against that in swing. I had trouble against that left arm seamer. So these things will happen. So for me, I think Hardik at 5, Aksar playing, and this trio is very important for me. If 4 is Surya, then 5 is Hardik, 6 is Aksar, 7, who are we going to go with? There's one more bat. Yeah, for me it's DK. Because if it's punt, then it can't be 7. It has to be earlier. Then he plays instead of Surya. So these are the questions these games should give you.
And Joyda, I remember asking you this question that in the Asia Cup, what do you feel that was the biggest point which India failed to capitalize on? You said the batting lineup.
The time is running.
How just don't go into the playing 11.
Yeah.
Just the batting lineup of India. How would you like to see as they get into playing Australia?
The batting lineup doesn't matter. The form of the batters matters. For me, we played the right batters. Maybe Huda could have played earlier, whatever. DK could have got more time. But to keep it short, the batting unit needs to fire. If the batting unit fires, the bowling will always do its job. 8 days out of 10. But it's the batting unit. In the Asia Cup, I always felt we're 29 shot in every game.
Each and every game. So
Just one more quick point in 20 seconds.
Please.
Even if you lose, stick with it.
Yeah.
If you lose 3-0 to Australia,
so many
the whole
experiments.
country might go mad. Stick with it. If this is your best 11, stick with
yes,
it.
absolutely. No more experimentations. There are too many questions to ask and to answer. And thank you so much, both of you gentlemen. You were hearing Boria Mojumdar and Joydeep Mukherjee and myself, Damini Basu. Thank you so much for joining. Do not forget to tune into RevSportz.